Well, we're back in again. I want to thank you, each and every single one of you, for giving me such a broad scope on things. And I also need to go ahead and thank you for letting me some lyrics, breathe some lyrics and everything. I think I started this about 11:16. 11:16 brings us back down there to that 7-11. All right. 11:7. And I've been learning quite a bit, not just from things that I missed along the way, just because I should have been up to par on. I should have been up to par on them. Had I taken it and actually looked at it with eyes that I didn't have, all right, I would have been up to par. But even regardless of that, not being up to par, it doesn't necessarily matter if your heart is right. All right. If your heart is right, even if we miss things, if your heart is right. And that right there, I had many confirmations come. I showed you there with the hawk coming in two that 2 days in a row, a male hawk, and then I forget what day it was, but I did take the picture there and made a video. The female hawk came 3 times in one day. And there's actually inside the I Ching, there's actually, and I didn't have that prepared, whichever one it is, but it states that a prince will have entrance into the court 3 times in one day. And so that really, blew me away when I saw that and everything. Then today, as I'm sitting up here, the female hawk came back again. I don't necessarily move like that with people. Okay, nature actually comes to me. Actually, was this one girl? Her name was Mahalet, and she the birds and everything used to come to her and just and play with her and everything. And it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool to even see. I saw it. I saw it. She expressed it and everything, but I saw it one time. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, Eugene used to actually sing, and whenever Rosa spoke on it, and the birds be around and shit. Okay, and the hawk is one of the birds that's inside of my name, Echo. Okay, and not only that, it is that of Horus, which is that of Bess, which is Sagittarius. So all those things right there, has a lot of significance and meaning, even though I haven't dove into Egyptology and all the things we're talking about to remember per se. But I do know this much and everything, that mine is that of the Nile. Okay. And the Nile is that of water. And I believe it's also connected to Isis. And inside of our family and everything, inside the family that I was born into, it goes like it goes water, that's Eugene with Pisces and the moon. It goes Veer, okay, water, and Gemini, okay, the twins. So he got the subconscious is here. The consciousness is that of Cancer, and then fire, which ascends, is that of Sagittarius. In between, we have that of the Ram. That's the sister Nisha. The Bull, that is Eugene the third, and the Bull Ram, he doubled up on them, and that's Damien. All right, on the 21st, 5th Eugene on May 5th, and then the 2nd of April. And we're going to start off right there with the 2nd of April. 2nd of April is the day that Nisha planned to pull me out of prison, to land on her birthday, to pull me out of prison. This is how much she wanted to go ahead and, you know, orchestrate things. So it wouldn't necessarily be a welcoming, just of me getting out, you know what I'm saying? But to combine it with her birthday. Okay? I state that and everything because even as I was sitting up here playing the little songs that I play, I saw them over there, you know? And these are just memories, last memories, last thoughts, and then we're gonna get to last words right now. All right. So without water, going back on that, without the two waters, and then it being the conscious and the subconscious, the ram and the bull, which are both of parts of my family, immediately, are that of the animals of the earth and everything. Without water, none of us are going to exist. Without sitting up inside of our subconscious to bring that to the consciousness and then to ascend, even the bulls and the rams are not going to exist. And on top of that, I gave uh, recognition in the name, the family name, of Brown, and that of respect, simple respect. Okay, with one of the things I put out there, I put a brown heart. And matter of fact, it was the day that I was walking down the street, minding my own business, and this girl, and she's dressed in pink, you know what I'm saying? She's whispered something like, "You just digging yourself more in trouble," or something like that, and everything. And I'm like, but she was talking to somebody on the phone, and she said it, but she said it right on cue, even to a 1:14 on that clock, if I can remember. And with dealing with that of those of the pink nature, with the rep the pink colors and so forth. And everything. I don't necessarily let rep a color, because I believe we're all, and I don't necessarily believe in just one of the zodiac sign because we're all of them. Okay, I don't let it define me. These are things to guide us. All right, as even in the water portion, like I have pointed out once before, the sunfish will have 300,000 fish and everything. But the sunfish has no muscles. Okay, so it lays on and has no feelings and everything. So everybody can take a bite out of the fish and everything, and they really need the fish to come pull off the parasites and everything on them. So they see sunfish floating half eaten and everything, but she birthed the most babies and everything in the water. And even with the lion and the seahorse, the kill rate with the seahorse, which the male produce, is 90%. And that's alone. The lion travels with a pride. Or he might go out but regardless, this is down to 13%. And that's on land and everything. So, but again, these are just things that I take into like I said, I don't let man necessarily lead me like that. I look at nature and I see what nature does and everything. All right. And I listen to nature. And nature comes to me and everything. So I'm thankful for that, grateful for that. And so I I say that and everything because with the pink and everything, I personally have not received any, first of all, pink for me is simply healthy inside of our body. Okay. I don't associate it to being a woman. I actually associate it to being both male and female, as we're both masculine and feminine energies in a general sense. I don't rep a color, flag, none of that, because we're all of them. We're kaleidoscope of colors. Okay. And we're going to go through each of them, even to the purple, whether it be to the royal, positive, or to the arrogant. We're going to go through all of it. All right. 11 on the clock, 11:01 on the clock. And then, as in, again, uh, respect, and not only respect, it's really my choice out of that, before that respect. The sun is what gives us everything. Without the sun and this water we're sitting here talking about, nothing else is going to be happening. You won't be able to make mud. Okay. And form man or mankind or you know humanity or however you want to say it. Nothing, animals wouldn't be able to be formed. Okay. So those two things right there alone, uh, and coordinates, of course, with the wind and fire. Okay. To go ahead and make things, it's just a simple, it's basic chemistry. Basic chemistry is what it is. So at the end of the book, of the book here, which was actually the beginning, both of them are in yellow. Okay, both of them in yellow. All right, and that's the sun. Whether it's a golden yellow or yellow yellow, it is not. They're not inside of brown. They're not inside of pink. They're not. It's the sun, as she used to say, rise and shine, rise and shine. Rise and shine. All right. And so with that right there, that's why. And again, it just so happens to be uh, hers, which is Rosas, which is that abyss, all right, which is the form of the hawk, which is also Horus, okay. At the same time, my other sign is with Set, and Set is the guardian of the dead, and that's giving respects to the dead and guardian of the dead, and that sense of the human sense of dead, but it has nothing to do with the spirit. And so when we receive these nature callings, or even I think it was with me one time when the crows was going, and I think I counted clock 113. It might have even been 114 when I went back to clock it. It might have been. But going into this right here, uh, I came out of here, listened to my grandpa, which I know believe now, right now, that it was actually my father. Okay. And in a dream, like I said, Eugene had came up to there one day, and that night I had the dream, and I got to see, feel everything as the doctor was talking to him as far as the cancer in his body, and not the cancer, but the syphilis, all the things that was going on. And during that dream right there, during that with the inside the body, he told me to go ahead and try to bring the family back together. And so that's what I did. Even with the monies I got after he said he didn't want the 10,000 for his urine, his penis and everything, his urinary tract. So I said, okay, so bam, I go out. Now, they've all had problems with this, also with the brown side of the family. Now, with the pink side, let's hit the pink first. The pink, Nisha, you saw with the camera first, rep that. Rena, rep that. You know what I'm saying? Nisha's also had the address of the gas bill, which somebody stole out of here. Okay. And it was to 323 Tangelo. Nisha Marie Brown's name was on a gas bill. It was taken out of this not this room, but maybe the room before. All right. Um, and so that's I have not had a great or even just tra- not even transactional equal give and take, whether it be a relationship, whether it be here, you know, uh, whether it be uh, it hasn't been. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every single one, but the pink. Those are the pinkies, the pink that I've had have been at on a lower vibration, monetarily. Just straight monetarily. Like I said, I don't even know if any of them have even stopped to even rub his feet. Okay, to rub his feet or her feet. And even with that, I have my daughter Amanda repping pink. Went ahead and said after I told her she had passed, she said, "God don't like ugly," and she's right. God don't like ugly. Okay, and so let's moving on to some last words and everything. Last words. Okay, first one was with a question mark. Why conservatorship? Even at that point in time, as Nisha came in to go ahead and take over and say this is how things are going to go. Like I said, I stood up and said, it's not happening. First of all, I'm the oldest, and we're going to ask him what he wants to do. Okay. After he stated what he wanted to do, that's what we went ahead and did. I didn't think it was going to go down like the way it went down. Okay. But it was all kinds of different things that I come back to see why it went down the way it went down. You know, even into the starting off at the hospital, as when he takes off to go ahead, maybe be by himself for a minute. All of his children are there. Nisha states, I'm going to sit up here and wash her. I want to wash her and put the last clothes on her, and so forth like that. Well, when Eugene takes off, she comes and cries, I want my mommy stuff. I want my mommy stuff. Like I said, we said, we're not tripping on that right now. But then as we thought about it, even sitting there, we said, well, maybe we want to keep some things. At that point in time, we told her that. At that point in time, that's when she left and didn't even wash her mother. I got to couple this right now going to the ending of the funeral or the supposed funeral where she was at. Damien was supposed to get the flowers. Damien said she didn't deserve any flowers. These are some last words and so forth. Okay. Uh, but I said, why the conservatorship? Now, because of this situation right here, I've got to experience a lot of the things that they were experiencing going through their life and everything. And they were experiencing exactly what I'm experiencing now. People knocking on the door, knocking on the floor, knocking on the wall this way, knocking on the wall that way. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make them motherfuckers go crazy. And it's really some elementary shit. But I guess that's the best they can do, you know? And even inside of that, throughout all of the, since 222 or 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 4 years, it's been I haven't had a chance to go ahead and sit and think and just feel, you know? And that right there was kind of not trying to knock that off too, but I don't, as I'm past that. Once you go ahead and just, hey, knock on the damn door back, you know? I'm sure Rosa damn did it with her neighbors. Okay. I have to go back right now because, like I said, I went to the Brown side. Even with the stories and things that they have spoken and everything, my grandpa told me to go ahead and do what I got to do. So I went ahead and did. And I got to see some ugly things. Even after I went over there and paid, you know, to go ahead and help her move and everything, even paid, to go ahead and get them something to eat or whatever and everything. Went over there 3 times from California to fucking Arizona. She didn't even pay the guy who was helping me, but paid the girl because he was staying with the girl and everything. I got at her about that. Okay, that's the Mary Jean or Myra. Archie is right up the street. Didn't write when I was inside. Only see him on the day of her death. Furman, we see riding down the highway. Didn't stop to say, hold up, let me get 5 minutes. Only time I see him is at the funeral. And then he did go ahead and send me some money to send me back down here. Okay. But that's to get inside of this position right now, too. Other than that, he just followed me on my, uh, forget what it is, not Instagram, TikTok. Follow me on the TikTok to do, and say all kinds of different things, trying to read this, that, sing, Memphis. Uh, Other than that, I have not heard him. TJ, which everybody disliked for all kind, I went down here and got him a car through Damien, and he was still the same. TJ, go back to Cleveland. Haven't seen Ann since I was talked to her on the phone a couple of times. I thought I might be seeing her. Hadn't seen her since I was about 19, 20 or so. Did not make it out there to see me for Jack. Went over to drop some sea moss and everything to over to uh, uh, Aunt B, you know, Vivian, and the same thing. The same thing. So I got to see the whole. I did what my grandpa said. I got to see everything that they spoke about, Eugene and Rosa. I got to see all that. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't really seen that much. What I'm saying is I hadn't seen that much. Higher vibrations of the pink. I never haven't seen that much higher vibrations of the brown either. Not in my lifetime. Okay. So again, I'm saying that again because I told the blue because of the blue sky, and then I told the yellow because of the sun. Okay, rise and shine for some blue skies. Keeping it simple. I keep it simple. Okay, so back to these last words. Why the conservatorship? Although I thought he might have been, but like I said, I just had to breathe some lyrics right now. Okay, and it's not that I put anybody inside of any boxes or circles or thought forms and leave them there, you know. And And on top of that, during this whole time too, uh, like Damien has said, Nisha hadn't been here in 4 years. So basically, when I got out, she was there for that, for her birthday, not for me getting out, to show that I got him out on my birthday. Okay, with all the people that she met along the way, and after that, I hadn't seen her either. She went ahead and had conversations with Rena that was told to me, and I went and got at her on it. But long story short on that, they both on the same team. All right, of lower vibrations. Not to say they're not higher vibrations of pink. Okay, so his mind was not gone to where he needed a conservatorship. I believe he was pushed into that, and you know, what other things, whatever ever things, hey, that maybe he had to take it. That's on him. I don't know, but that's not even my thing right now, because everybody has business. Everybody got to take care of, and simple as that. My thing right here is look. He could have actually, with whatever money, he could have had enough money to go ahead and pay somebody to go ahead and do what Rosa was doing if he wanted to take off by himself. But he was locked in. Now, the last words that was sitting up there says, she said, I stole his credit card or tried to steal his credit cards. And then, even at that time, while the cameras were rolling, Damien had told me, she said, I tried to steal I stole his wallet. And I just gave him 2,000 prior. Just gave not 3-4 months ago. You know, I think it was like within the last 2 months. Okay, so but his immediate response was, "Why did you say beer?" Okay, why just and so all that right there is showing me. But then even when the report came out, she still put Veer tried to steal his credit cards, and that's not even me. That's not even me. All right. His last words were, "She was an angel." As I was sitting up here apologizing for, if I've stirred up to, to push things up to make her go, that she was an angel. All right. And he had jumped out. I jumped out and he had to go. He had to go. Do whatever he got to go. Okay. When I got here also, Damien, and this is where I sat back on it just to watch the response. But at that point in time, I already wanted to go ahead and smash him. Why? Because even though my mom slid out the van, he went and got at Eugene and said, "Don't you ever let my mama slap." And I want to, because those are his elders, I don't give a fuck if it's not my mom. I don't give a fuck. But I didn't say nothing. I just looked at the reaction and so forth. I didn't say anything to see how they responded. And so it was a brush off, so I just let it slide on that one. Let it slide on that one. All right. Now the middle one, Eugene is the middleman. Whether to keep peace and everything, don't necessarily take a side. And even like I said, he said, "I'm scared." Simple as that. All right. So as I'm gathering right now, to even have Rosie, told you about the Rosie thing coming downstairs after, and stop, stop you two, and more pushing me. I'm like, looking at this whole situation is just crazy, you know. And then the next thing I know, she's giving my personal thing. I'm going through. I'm first of all, I'm transmuting, trying to understand all of this right here. After, like I said, this is only, Damien had just took 4,000. Okay, all this right here is going back to back to back to back, and I'm in school, trying to study, and so even when you're at work, so a lot of things take you over, and emotionally to where you might not be able to focus and everything, and that had got me with the things that had happened to me. It had got me, and so I didn't finish a lot, and I'm not going to blame it on that either. I could have burrowed through, but even that, when you have granddaddy's death, okay, but Morosa, she had a even keel. She came out of that one, and it wasn't so. It was deep. I'm not going to say it wasn't equally, but it wasn't so on her. But with grandmother's death, it was still on her. And even though 4 years have, it was still on. Like right now, it's 4 years. So even that was transferred over to me. Those feelings was transferred. No one else had those transferred feelings. No, okay. Eugene was there to understand them. Senior, I'm talking about, or junior, but nobody else saw those emotions and feelings and everything. I did. I did. Okay, I felt them. So all these things we're working through retrograde, and matter of fact, the retrograde is actually going to be on November 9th right now. So these things right here, everybody, you take your time and go through these things because it's not the past, it is present, and it is future and everything because we've done this before. We have done this before, and we're just doing it just like the wicked. I'm just watching, as you see me watching on the thing, gave me a lot of info about y'all, how, how you come together and come apart, be doing wicked on throwing your magic on each other and shit. that shit that should be hilarious like a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. But it showed me your processes. So, and progress, and why it doesn't progress, and why we still, some readers, and I thank you. You look for the what is it, conflict resolution inside of things, and that's what you produce when we're talking. Other readers like get into this he say she say this that and everything. I can, don't get me wrong, I can understand the where to, the generality of things. This right here was done in court. This right here, even if the story is not true, but when you get into the this that, that's, I guess I'm gonna have to use, what's her name? Forget right now, but she said mundane astrology. She doesn't do a whole lot of. She goes for it, and so that's that mundane stuff. That's the day to day to keep people's mind, that a soap opera type of shit. You know. Excuse me, I'm trying to not to curse. I'm trying to clean it up. Okay. Yeah. Pathfinders. I forget the show. The thing. But she says she doesn't do a whole lot of mundane astrology. You know what I'm saying? And so even as this time right now that we're in, this time right now that we're in, I opened up the I Ching, and I had wrote inside on the 25th change, and 25th change is that of innocence. Innocence. And it was, I had wrote inside of here 221, 212, Pop's birthday, nothing in particular, simply teach me something. Then on September 20th, 2012, grandmother's birthday, again, simply teach me. Gigi's birthday, simply teach me something. So inside of this right here, where it's talking about taking no medicine, use no medicine in an illness, 9 in the fifth place, incurred through no fault of your own. It will pass of itself. I'll just read these lines real quick. 9 at the beginning. Innocent behavior brings good fortune. Original impulses of the heart are always good, so that we may follow them confidently, assuredly, to good fortune and achievements of our aims. 6 in the second. It does not count on the harvest while plowing. If one does not count on the harvest while plowing, nor use the ground while clearing it, it furthers no one to undertake anything. All right. 6 and the third, undeserved misfortune. The cow is tethered to someone, and the wanderer's gain is the citizen's loss. 9 in the fourth place, who can be persevering remains without blame. And then I got in here, he sent a postcard, February 12th. Okay? So we cannot lose what really belongs to us, even if we throw it away. Therefore, we need not have no anxiety. All that is concerned us would that we should remain true to our own natures and not listen to others. And that's what I started this thing off here. I don't listen to a whole lot of people. I listen to nature guys. Call me nature boy if that's the case. Even though I haven't been out there, but we're taking, it's coming to me. 9 in the fifth place. Use no. I just got from the saying. Use no medicine. 9 at the top means innocent action brings misfortune. Nothing furthers. When in a given situation, the time is not ripe for further progress. The best thing to do is wait, be still, as he wrote. Where he did go ahead and now I took this like it was against me, as he did go ahead and put the parentheses on the V. Be still. All right. And wait quietly without ulterior designs. If one acts thoughtlessly and tries to push ahead in opposition to fate, success will not be achieved. And this leads us right into this time zone that we're in right now, October, November. Okay? And October, November is that of Poe, number 23, Splitting Apart. And this right here is how he led off his first diagram inside of here. First lyric was with 23, the splitting apart. All right, first lyric. All right. So inside of here, this is during October, November. And again, it says Kin and Kun, which is the receptive Mother Earth. And Kin is keeping still while things are splitting apart. So these dark lines are about to mount up towards and overthrow the last firm light line by exerting and disintegrating influence upon it, a disintegrating influence upon it. The inferior dark forces overcome what is superior and strong, not by direct means, not not by face to face. Nobody face to face. Okay, still going. But by undermining and gradually and imperceptibly, s- so that it finally collapsed. Now I'm gonna hit this image of the judgment, splitting part. It does not further want to go anywhere. Be still. The image, the mountain rests on the earth, the image of splitting apart. Those above can ensure their own position. Thus, those above can ensure their own position only by giving generously to those below. Generously doesn't mean to, I mean, to me anyway, doesn't mean to Larry, Matty, Mo, and Jack, Larry, Curly, and Mo, the Stooges and everything that evidently couldn't get things done, you know, as far as to the real thing, red rum, okay? The lines, no, the image. The image rests on the earth, the image of splitting apart. Though, thus, those above can ensure their position only by giving. I just read that one. Okay, the lines. 6 at the beginning means the leg on the bed is split. Those who persevere will be destroyed. Misfortune. 6 in the second, the bed is split on the edge. Those who persevere are destroyed. Misfortune. 6 in the third, he splits with them. No blame. Read that one. An individual finds himself in an evil environment to which he is committed by external ties, but he has an inner relationship with a superior man or woman. I'm going to put inside of there. And through this, he attains stability to free himself from the way of the inferior people around him or around her. Thus brings into the opposition of them, of course, but that is not wrong. 6 and the fourth means the bed is split up to the skin. Here, the disaster affects not only the resting place, not only the resting place. That's meaning like the dead, as far as I'm talking about. The resting place, but even the occupant. No warning or other commitment is added. Misfortune has reached its peak. It no longer, it can no longer be warded off. Now, this is the one that's 6 in the fifth place. A shoal of fishes, 153. Women. Favor comes through the court of ladies. Every act furthers, everything acts to further. Here, the immediate proximity to the strong, light giving principle is at the top. The nature of the dark forces undergoes a change. It no longer opposes the strong principle by means of intrigues, but submits to his guidance. Indeed, as the head of the other weak lines. Now, with this hexagram right here, we have 5 yin lines, and the yang line is at the top. Okay, so if we put that in masculine, feminine, this is all feminine, 5 feminine, and there's a masculine at the top. The 5th line down is that normally would be that of the prince. But in this case, it is that of a queen who As she says right here now, it says, indeed, the head of the other weak lines, it all leads to a strong line, just as a princess leads her maids in waiting like a shoal of fish to her husband, and thus gains favor, insomuch as the lower element thus voluntarily places herself under the higher, and it attains happiness, and the higher also receive its due. Therefore, all goes well. 9 at the top. There's a large fruit still uneaten. The superior man receives a carriage. The man, I mean, the house of the inferior man is split apart. Okay? Here, the splitting part reaches to its end when misfortune has spent itself, better times return. The seed of the good remains, and it is just when the fruit falls to the ground that the good sprouts a new seed, anew from its seed. The superior man again attains influence and effectiveness. He is supported by public opinion as if inside of a carriage. Okay? Uh, let's set this up here just a bit more. There we go. As if inside of a carriage. But the inferior man's wickedness is visited upon himself. The house is split apart. The law of nature is at work here. Evil is not destructive to the good alone, but inevitably destroys itself as well. For evil, which lives solely by negation, cannot continue to exist on its own strength alone. The inferior man fares best when held under control by a superior man. Okay? Then we hit January, February. I mean, December, that was October, November, December, January. And this is the return. This is, how you have Kung Fu? This is Fu. Number 24. 24 elders. 24 priests. First Chronicles 24. And each of them has an hour. Even for myself, I'm only coming up on really 1 year. 60. That's just one time around. So this is like a midlife crisis. People might have at different times and everything. Or you're gonna have different stages along your life and everything. So depending on how you look at it, is how it's gonna be. So the idea of turning arises from the fact that after the dark lines have pushed all the light lines upward out of the hexagram, another light enters the hexagram from below. So basically, that's that yang line. Another one is at below, and all the feminine is up top. All the yin lines are at top. But we at the top there, we still have, now we have that the yin line who was in or as they said over here with the fishes, the princess leads her maids, okay, in waiting like a shoal. So they're in waiting right now. Everybody's in waiting and order and learning and so forth and everything she's leading. But at the bottom now, the support from the yang line is what's happening. So it just switched December to January. The judgment, return, success, going out and coming out without error. Friends come without blame. Without blame. To and fro goes the way. On the seventh day comes return. It furthers one, to have somewhere to go. So this over here was don't go nowhere. Be still. Okay? Now, below here, this triagram is going to be that of the earth, Kum. Mo- ladies, ladies, okay? The earth, as we call, they say Mother Earth, but it's Daughter Earth. Okay. And the arousing thunder, which is the firstborn son, and that's me in our family. I don't know what it is inside of your family. And it might be you as a feminine inside of your family if you have all girls. You're still going to take on that trait to go ahead and be the one to thunder and arouse everyone to go ahead and if positive, positive, if negative, then hey, you can utilize that negative. This is just how it is, right? I mean, okay. And so basically, all three of those 23, 24, and 25, where I started at there with that of uh, uh, Eugene's birthday back in 212 and Gigi's birthday in September 212. And the thing about it, what I was going to do is that for this year, and this has been a crazy year to where things are like, hitting it. I mean, in line. Because even if you go back on the calendar, September 20th, 3 weeks back, is actually going to end up being the 21st. So her 20th hits Eugene's 21st. All right. And that right there was like, again, to me, and doesn't necessarily, we know it doesn't add up like that. It doesn't happen like that all the time. This has been an extraordinary year with many, many alignments. Okay. Uh, so when I got out here, I went ahead and, or while I was inside, I went ahead into every, as Job 8:8 said, if you know what's inside of here, then search out their fathers. So that's what I did. We simply do that. To go ahead and see and learning life and death, whether it be in Buddhism, whether it be in Jainism, whether it be in Islam, whether it be in I Ching, whether it be in uh, Native Indians, okay, whether it be in Song of God, Bhagavad Gita, India, whether it be, you know, in many directions, I just say, many direct, Ivrit, okay, many directions. And in that right there, I did come across a rabbi, and I'm not saying all good, bad, or ugly with rabbis, you know. I ran across a couple who actually, hey, it was this one guy, I want to say he had Asperger's. Asperger doesn't mean bad. Aspis mean asp, is smart. That's a serpent, and Burger is a citizen. Simple as that. So he was an ADD to where his ADD could recite the whole, was it the whole uh, United States, what is it called right now? I'm not going to say national anthem, the Constitution. He could recite the whole Constitution. And that's what he was doing this day on a holy day. And the way he got at him, I got at the rap. Well, I didn't get at him that day. I left him alone. And then when I went over to the 1 yard, then we had one-on-one to where we could see. And it was something he had did over there. And then that's what I got at him about, even what he was speaking, how he spoke to me and how he spoke to the other person on the other yard. So I'm sure that traveled through all the rabbis, even when I got out. I'm sure it did. And point being is this, though. I went ahead to go ahead and learn about these things to go ahead because it was one rabbi that did say, hey, celebrate our differences. Learn to celebrate our differences. And in doing that right there, that's when I went into the music, you know, and was creating, whether it be Spanish, Hebrew, English, country, rock, love, ballad, all of it, you know, and was creating lyrics, not like the lyrics that Eugene got here, but I'm learning, you know, we're learning. And that's the only thing, that's the main thing that we had in common. Besides this, that of the hangman is a Pisces. And that's the position I sleep in on a natural. And we're both of the moon cycle, of the moon, 55, 55 on the clock. Okay? Subconscious and conscious. So none of the other brother siblings is, you know, were on that path or thought form. As a matter of fact, I would come up and try and speak this. No, I want, hey, let's play a video game with Eugene in the middle. You know, didn't want to speak on certain things or couldn't speak on them. But, you know, to me, I guess enjoying the mundane things in life and everything, you know, to me, not that it's mundane to them, but to me, you know, sit up and watch the football go up and down on a thing and, yay, you know, and all of this. And even though Emmitt Smith said, damn, he don't even like the game. Okay. Because all the magnetic, this, that, you know, the anyways, not to get into the sports thing, that's a whole nother subject matter. Uh, so in, even in all differences, just like and positive, we're more so alike than any of them, anybody. Okay. Even in all of our misunderstandings, words said, how we internalize it, how we replied or didn't reply. And in all of that right there, is there's with all of, you know, simply besides Rosa, nothing nothing compares. Nothing compares. Okay? Nothing compares. As I sit up here and I do again, thank you for everyone's input, output, you know, points of view, the way you might do it, your own style. As I hear it right now, as back to where the basis of, again, although one maybe had to go with whatever, any attacks on him, you know, and this is plus the fact of this. Rosa has said to me, and he was there, I do not want to be cremated. And take care of Eugene. Took off. They took off. So I did finish one part of my grandpa's mission. I didn't necessarily get a chance to go ahead and fulfill Rosa's and everything. But as I'm hearing right now, attacks, if any attacks are on Eugene, my thing has been in question and falsely led. I did go in an attack also, or point in directions. But out of everybody there, I don't think none of them they were able to even read that. And it took me this long to go ahead and sit down to breathe, to get back into myself, to go ahead and go back over, like I said, these first words, last words, all interactions. Again, not one time after that birthday, only one time when she was passing through to go ahead and drop some uh, uh, cookies off to Eugene in Santa Barbara, had I even seen Nisha, nor has she picked up the phone to call me. But at the same time, even like Eugene never made a trip down to come see me. I made a trip up there to go see them every single time. So all those things are first, last, and everything. The last should be first, and the first should be last. All right. And even if I'm not there with him, for anybody to go ahead and throw some shit in there for him not to go ahead and succeed with what he's been doing, or even not, it's not even succeed, even rest after all the things that we know that he's been gone through. The same thing, I wasn't in the military when they fucked up my feet, but they got me at a private doctor to fuck up my feet. Okay. Okay. At a private doctor to fuck up my foot, to try and fuck up my foot, you know, to put me inside of these walls right here so they can play ping pong, ding dong, ditch. Okay. So if anybody trying to mess with his peace for the remainder of his years, may justice come down hard on you. You know, may justice come down hard on you and implode from within inside of you. All right. Implode and even explode. Walls come tumbling down. What goes around comes around. Okay? And way past the end of time as we know it, to be continued.